playing for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A day and a half.
Yeah, a day and a half.
Obviously going into the last home game of the season, a big matchup for you guys against a really hot Louisiana Tech team that has a lot to play for. Just kind of go into that matchup if you would.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we wouldn't have lost on Saturday, you'd be saying the same thing about us, I mean, because we've obviously won a lot of games here lately. We didn't perform well on Saturday at Middle Tennessee, but it should be a heck of a game. I mean, it's the top two offenses in the league. It's the top two field goal percentage teams in the league, plus the top two field goal percentage defense teams in the league. And then I think we're both like 2 and 3 in three-point percentages. So, I mean, by the numbers, both of us are pretty good. They've got an edge in the offensive rebounding category. We've got a little bit of an edge in the three-point defense category. So two of the better teams, and, we were fortunate to beat them at La Tech, and now, you've got them coming to our arena, albeit last time they didn't have Chavez. He's back and he's playing really well. So it should be a heck of a game. Obviously, we've got a lot of different things going on. I mean, they've reduced ticket prices down to $5, which is fantastic, in an effort to sell out Ditto Arena. And I'd like to think that, the students, the fans, just people around here would come out and support these guys. I mean, they've done a good job. They've played hard. They're good kids. They got a 3.0 in the classroom in the fall. So they've done what they're supposed to do, other than win on Saturday, which is probably going to take you out of contention for first place. So we're excited. Should be a heck of a game.
Last week, you were talking about trying to, again, sell out Diddle. Sense some passion from you on last week. What's your message to fans to tell them to bring their families to Diddle Arena on Wednesday night? Yeah,
I mean, guys, if we're not able to sell out Diddle, I'll be very disappointed. Again, I'm saying this as their coach, but I'm saying this as a basketball person. Like, they play hard, they play the right way, they're fun to watch. They play for Western Kentucky. They don't play for themselves. They're not selfish for the most part. It's good basketball. And Wednesday night, you've got two really good teams, two teams that arguably could be in the NCAA tournament and win a game or two. So, if you're a basketball fan or if you're a Western supporter, I just don't see the reason for you not to be here. I get it. Wednesday night, sometimes people go to church. Obviously, I go to church as well, but the good Lord will forgive us on this Wednesday is my guess. So let's make sure that we get our neighbors and our friends and people from church and get them to Diddle. And let's have a great environment. And I can promise you that, I can't promise you we're going to win, but I can promise you we're going to play hard. And when you leave the arena at the end of the night, you should be proud to say, hey, I support these guys.
This is a game that could go down to the wire. Obviously, it could be a very close game. Early in the season, you talked about how, it's not so much who starts, because you've got plenty of players that can start more than 5, but it's who finishes. When you're evaluating who you want on that court for the last 2 minutes of play, is it more situational, who's having a good night, or is it stick to your guns and stick to the players with experience?
Yeah, it's absolutely situational because, different games, guys are playing better than others. And, kind of like Middle Tennessee, I've substituted and didn't really find a lineup until kind of the last 10 minutes of the game. And then we kind of found a lineup that had some rhythm. And maybe I didn't get Christian Lander back in or Enoch back in, but the team that was on the floor I felt like was playing pretty well and was giving us an opportunity to win the game. So you have to go with that. But each game presents, obviously different, situations where foul trouble or injury, those sorts of things. So you've got to kind of roll with the punches.
Right, it seemed like foul trouble affected you guys. You had 4 guys on the bench in the first half. Is that just a hard and fast rule, like no exceptions, or do you take it case by case with 2 fouls and you're on the bench? And then what do you do with 3 fouls? When is that?
Yeah, no, I don't know that I have an answer for 3 fouls. With 2 fouls, I usually don't play you in the first half. That's kind of my hard, fast rule. I'm not going to say never, because I don't think you can ever do that. But I would certainly never want to go into the beginning of the second half with a guy with 3 fouls, and now he's got 4 with 3 minutes in. That's just my philosophy. Coaches do different things and have differing philosophies. As far as 3 goes, I usually kind of go based upon my feel and also on matchups. If I can go hide you on somebody and maybe you're not having to guard, Isaiah Crawford, for example, who's, possibly the player of the year. Man, I'd feel a little more confident if I could go hide you on somebody and you not have to be in the mix of every pick and roll or every down screen or every offensive situation, because you're lessening your chances of picking up a foul. But to your credit, yep, we had a lot of foul trouble in the first half. I thought it was a very physical basketball game, and I thought that the ebb and the flow of the game because of the whistles was disrupted a lot. And, sometimes that's hard, but you've got to learn to play through it.
Christian coming back from a concussion, do you evaluate things any differently than, say, a knee or an ankle or a shoulder? That one trip he didn't go, I guess, lights, the travel, he didn't make that trip. Is it a different process?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, the NCAA has strict rules on concussion protocols, and Christian adhered to those. He got out of concussion protocol, and then he ended up going back into it. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, I absolutely look at those differently. But
it's a day-to-day thing, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But, I mean, I lean heavily on John Irwin, our trainer, and our medical staff here to help guide us with those sorts of things. So, but Christian's fine now. He's good to go.
You mentioned they didn't have Chavez the first time you guys played them. You guys didn't have Lander down there either. How much different do these teams look with those guys on them?
It's funny you say that, because I just got done watching Jacksonville State and Louisiana Tech, and Baccio didn't play in the game, against Jacksonville State. So, yeah, I mean, it changes things, right? I think that for us, because of the way we play, not having a guy like Christian Lander, that certainly decreases your depth. But with that being said, Tegan got more of an opportunity and stepped in and did well. So, it certainly changes some of your game plan. But at the end of the day, once you're this far along into the season, you have roles and people identified, in terms of what they can and can't do.
Last time out, I think, against Louisiana Tech, Rodney got to the line. I think he was 10 for 11 from the free throw line. Don was able to get to the line, I think, about 5 or 6 times. Is getting to the, getting their bigs in foul trouble a key emphasis or a key point, like trying to attack the rim?
Well, I mean, I don't know that we emphasize getting to the basket anymore, or getting the ball inside anymore against Louisiana Tech than we did, say, Middle Tennessee, right? I mean, we talked several times throughout the course of the year, layups and dunks are the best shot in college basketball, and then kind of step in threes after that. So we absolutely feel like we have some strength with Bob and Rodney at the center position, and we need to get the ball to the basket, which then in turn typically gets you to the free throw line. So we've got to continue to do that, but we also need to drive the ball to the basket and get fouled and finish some plays and get some and ones and all those sorts of things. Once you do that, it's just going to open up lanes for driving, and then it's also going to allow you to probably drive and kick some more, and you're going to get a little more of a cushion in terms of having time to shoot those threes.
Just looking at this conference again, and I know that you've said from the start that it's going to take a team losing 3 or 4 to even win this conference. So there's a lot of balance there, but it really seems like this year there's not a break from 1 to 9. There's not a team in distress where you feel pretty good about going even into their gym. Just kind of looking at this balance with this conference, previewing the tournament, what do you expect with that?
Well, I mean, I expect it to be a fun tournament because I think that there's going to be some really good games. And, I expect that Western and our fans travel well down there, and I expect that to give us an advantage. And, That's not to say that that's going to guarantee us any wins, but that's going to certainly help us. But just overall, I would tell you, we're the 14th or 15th best league in the country. There's 32 or 33 leagues, so our league is rated very highly. This year is a little bit different in that you just don't have, the FAU that gets to the Final Four. You don't have the marquee team, so to speak, because of non-conference wins. But I think that you've got a league that's very, very balanced from top to bottom. And on any night, any team can beat anyone. And I think that's been evidenced thus far just by how many people have won at home versus, not winning on the road. So I think it's a really fun league. I think that most everybody in the league plays a fun brand of basketball. They're aggressive defensively. It's a lot of man-to-man. So you don't see a lot of standing around and zone and all that sort of stuff. And the pace of play is pretty quick, which, I think that's attractive to fans. We forgot the blackout, right? Forgot the blackout. We got the blackout going on Wednesday night as well. The first 500 fans should come and receive a free Diddle After Dark T-shirt. So just one more reason to have them come to the game. And lastly, trying to bring back the concessions. There's a good possibility, students, that concessions will be back for Wednesday night.
Cool. The T-shirts are just for students.